An innocent man died because of what he did.
Tonight on DC News Now, the man wanted in connection with a DC officer's death was in court for the first time. The charges against him tonight.
And bus lane crackdown.
It really slows us down.
Yeah, it's down the bus lines.
People sound off as the district fines drivers $15 million for blocking bus lanes.
Dry weather, but cloudier skies on your Friday and some showers on Saturday. What about Sunday? I'll have the full 7-day forecast for you in just a few.
Going to the bus ride for 2 hours every single day. The bus ride's usually hot, it's long.
Parents are sounding the alarm in Prince George's County. Their students are faced with hours-long school bus rides.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at 9. I'm Susan Tran.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Flanagan. The man accused of tossing a gun into a storm drain that went off, killing a D.C. police officer, appeared in court today.
Tyrell Bailey, he turned himself into police last night. The 27-year-old is now facing multiple charges.
Yeah, DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg was in courtroom today and joins us now live tonight here in studio.
And Daniel, he's actually not being tied directly or charged directly for investigator Wayne David's death.
Well, Susan, Chris, he's not, but he is being charged with serious gun possession charges and a charge for discarding a gun that could land him in jail for up to 30 years. Today, we heard from his family and neighbors of investigator Wayne David.
A week after investigator Wayne David lost his life in the line of duty, 27-year-old Tyrell Bailey walked into federal court wearing jeans and a black shirt that said, "Rule number 1, F what they say." Prosecutors say he tossed this gun in a sewer drain while running from police on August 28th. When David went to retrieve it, it accidentally went off, killing him.
An innocent man died because of what he did. I think, we all have to pay for the consequences of our bad actions.
David's neighbors are mourning his loss, but grateful Bailey is behind bars. He's charged with possession of a firearm by a felon, possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number, and unlawfully discarding a firearm and ammunition. That last charge, a new law, as part of Councilmember Brooke Pinto's recently passed Secure DC bill.
You've heard me say 1,000 times that people who shouldn't have guns, felons should not be in possession of guns. We have to take that crime and charge that consistently.
Outside the courtroom, Bailey's grandmother, Sheila Bailey Wilson, told reporters off camera it's a bunch of BS and said her grandson wasn't doing anything suspicious that night. She said, quote, "He's a good person. He's a hardworking man. He's supposed to be at work now."
Bailey is being held until a detention hearing next Tuesday morning. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Thank you so much for that update, Daniel. In Virginia, the search continues for the missing Manasses Park mom, Mamta Coughley-Bott. Investigators were seen looking in the area right near Manasses Christian School. Now, the police chief says they didn't end up finding anything. And this is just one of several areas that police have been searching for the 28-year-old nurse and mother. They've also been looking in areas like Bloom's Crossing Community, Camp Carundale, and the area of Bloom's Park.
Meanwhile, her husband, Naresh Bott, waived his right to a grand jury in court today. The judge called an initial recess during that hearing to allow time to find an interpreter for Bott. When the hearing resumed, Bott waived his right to grand jury in favor of a speedy trial. That means prosecutors have 5 months to bring the case to trial. Family and friends were inside the courtroom for today's hearing.
I have no doubt that the Commonwealth is putting together a very strong case. I think there's a wealth of evidence that's already been collected by Prince William, through the crime lab, Manasses Park Police Department. They're processing that evidence. It's going to take time. Mr. Bott thinks he's smart, but I guarantee you the weight of justice is leaning hard on him, and we're going to see this come to fruition.
The next court date is September 16th, when a trial date is expected to be set.
Over in Maryland, 2 students arrested for a gun incident. Montgomery County school officials are not giving many details, but in a letter home to families, they say it was a serious incident in Silver Spring on Tuesday, and police are investigating. Now, those letters went home to families at John F. Kennedy and Wheaton High Schools, as well as Odessa Shannon Middle School.
All right, let's take a live look outside tonight at the Washington Monument. Another spectacular evening here in the district. Temperatures, though, feeling more fall fall like, but we do have some chances of storms over the weekend. All right, so for the latest, let's get right over to meteorologist Scott Sumner in for the Chief tonight.
That's right, and Scott, we have been just applauding you every single day because it's been so spectacular.
Well, I'm blushing there, Susan. I appreciate that. No, I appreciate the cheers there. You know what? It does help when Mother Nature gives us some good weather. Then I look like the good guy. All right, 73 degrees outside. Partly cloudy skies are being seen outside right now, and that's a change from when I last spoke with you just about 2 hours ago when we saw some mostly cloudy skies. And I did mention, though, that the clouds are going to move in and out of the region. So one moment you'll see less clouds, another minute you'll see a few more clouds. But needless to say, it's going to remain dry tonight, and the temperatures here, as noted, are going to hold in the 60s, at least in D.C. Outside areas, yeah, you can drop back into the 50s again tonight, but not in the district itself. As a matter of fact, here's your hour-by-hour planner from 11 to midnight, right to 1 o'clock. Partly cloudy skies, 67, 66, 66 degrees. So there you have it. Now, how about the weather headlines moving forward? Well, we do have variably cloudy skies, meaning that we'll have a mixture of sun and clouds out there for your Friday, but more clouds than not, certainly by this time tomorrow night. Showers and a few isolated storms on Saturday. And Sunday, well, it's still looking sunny and comfy as well. We'll talk about it and give you the latest temperature for that day and beyond with a 7-day forecast.
All right, Scott, we'll see you then. Meanwhile, in the district, the trial for 2 teenage girls accused of killing a 64-year-old man is now underway. Prosecutors say they're part of a group of 5 girls who attacked Reggie Brown. Our team inside the courtroom today saying it was tense. Prosecutors showing photos of the scene and injuries Brown suffered during that alleged attack. We'll have much more on the evidence shown and also hear from Brown's family coming up at 9:30.
In the district, DDOT is cracking down on people who double park or just drive in these bus-only lanes. Now, what started as warnings then went into tickets, and D.C. has now doled out more than $15 million in fines.
Yeah, that's a lot. D.C. News Now's Marielle Carbone live for us downtown tonight. Marielle, you spoke with people who really have mixed feelings about this crackdown.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, listen, nobody wants to get a $100 ticket, but people who take the bus tell me those tickets are the only way to ensure people stay clear of these red bus-only lanes across the city.
We're all in this together. We're all trying to get home.
But Denise Becker, who takes a Metro bus multiple days a week, says when people don't follow the rules of the road, it makes a big difference for her daily commute.
When people park in the bus-only lanes, it really slows us down. It could impact me 10, 15 minutes.
D.C. trying to prevent the slowdown. In November, it launched the Clear Lane program, outfitting 140 buses with automated traffic cameras and finding people who are caught parking or driving in these red bus-only lanes or zones during designated hours. So far, the district's racked up $15 million in tickets.
I'm fine with that.
I think that is fair.
For driver Matthew Smith, the threat of a ticket was enough to make him change his habits.
I choose to offload all my equipment for work right across the street here in that bus lane, and I don't.
Still, he says the cost, $100 per ticket, is too steep.
I think that $100 is a bit much.
Just above Hughes Street, that little section, there are constantly cars in the bus lane.
Miles Hamilton, who takes the bus weekly, says when drivers break the rules, it's noticeable.
It's definitely slower.
But Hamilton questions just how effective the program really is.
What are they doing with the money? I don't know if it's necessarily going to stop people from doing it.
All right, so those questions about where the money goes from those tickets, DDOT says it just goes into the general fund for the budget here in D.C. the same way those tickets for speeding cameras and red light cameras also go into that general fund. Reporting live downtown tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, D.C. News Now.
All right, Marielle, and we saw just how fast those buses can go when they're not impeded. Thank you. A house fire in Prince George's County, Maryland left 11 people, including 2 children, out of their homes tonight. Firefighters say it started in the basement of the Bladensburg home this morning, and no one was hurt. Emergency management officials are now helping those families displaced.
DC News Now is your local election headquarters, and Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earle-Sears filed paperwork today to run for governor. She is the first Republican candidate to do so. Earl Sears was the first black Republican woman elected to the Virginia General Assembly in 2002, and she is only the second woman of any minority to hold statewide office in the Commonwealth. She'll likely be opposing Abigail Spanberger, who is the only announced Democratic candidate for governor. But before that happens, Earl Sears could have to go head-to-head with fellow Republican Attorney General Jason Manasses. He is widely considered to be contemplating a run as well.
Sears will have, I think, a tough road to try to get to a kind of majority. I think that she's really strong within the Republican Party, but in a general election, it's going to be difficult for her to really make the case, particularly if there's a challenger for her in a Republican primary.
So if Earl Sears is elected next fall, she'll be the first black woman to serve as governor in the country.
Staying in Virginia, a man and campaign advisor for former President Trump now facing charges over work done for sanctioned Russian media. Dimitri Sims is the Russian-born U.S. citizen and worked for the Trump campaign in 2016. He's accused of helping a Russian state television network and laundering the proceeds. Prosecutors say that Dimitri received more than $1 million in exchange for his work. His wife, Anastasia Sims, is also facing charges, accused of receiving money from a sanctioned Russian businessman. If convicted, the two face up to 20 years in prison, and both are believed to be in Russia right now.
All right, in Virginia as well, students in Arlington dismissed from school earlier today due to a gas leak. This happened at Yorktown High School. It's still unclear what caused that leak. Of course, we're bringing any updates both here on air and online at dcnewsnow.com.
The Washington Commanders are starting the new NFL season just mired in controversy. The team has fired its VP of content for these comments he made about players, fans, and the head of the league. O'Keefe Media Group is an activist organization, and it released the secretly recorded videos of Rael and Teen making those comments while on several dates with a person who actually worked for that activist group. In the videos, and Teen is heard saying the fans are high school educated alcoholics. Now, we spoke with several players as they were preparing for the first game of the season Sunday, and here's what they're saying about what they call distractions.
Professional, man. You know how it is, man. You know, there's always going to be questions asked. You know, you got to answer them to the best of your ability.
Stay off social media. Keeping them focused on what's important, man. What's inside the building. You know, let the opinions be the opinions. You know, we just locked in.
Just let the outside know to stay outside and worry about what we're doing inside the building and just trying to join each other up and build each other up and so we can have a great season.
Staying focused for those Commanders players. They're going to be in Tampa Sunday afternoon when they take on the Buccaneers.
Meanwhile, the Washington Spirit getting some major star power. Five-time NBA champion Magic Johnson is joining their investor group. The Spirit announcing that move this morning. Johnson already holds partial ownership of several teams, including the Commanders. He says he's excited to be part of the Spirit and the National Women's Soccer League's growth. That is pretty cool.